And the only way to do something better is to get new awareness. And I think that the people who love learning are always the ones who succeed in the long run. I think that's a universal thing.
If you aren't getting the results that you want in some place, something needs to change.
Yeah.
And if you're not open to the change, don't complain about not getting the results, because they kind of go hand in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode. We had a live mastermind on the top 10 things you need to know about money. Today, for episode number 489, we are going to talk about why you must be open to change.
Why you must be open to change.
Strong intro there for the kid.
It was really well done. Brought the energy. I'm going to try to match it. So I was listening to a book this past weekend called Algorithms to Live By. And it talks about this concept of explore versus exploit. And it's basically a book.
This is going to go well.
Yeah, right. It's basically a book that studies the last 50 years of computer science and helps people make better decisions based on what they've found in programming computers. So when you program a computer, your goal is to get a specific result. And so when you're creating an algorithm, the algorithm is designed to get a specific result over and over again. So it's basically a decision-making process, okay? And exploring is being open to new things. So let's say, hypothetically, you're in a new city, and you know that one restaurant is good because the last time you came to this city, you've been there before. Do you do that, or do you go explore a new one? Right. So, Kevin, you'd probably go to the one you know is good.
When I find a good
certainty.
spot, I just go hammer it.
And so that's the thing here is, how do you know if you're not open to a new opportunity? You can't seize it.
So Ellen and I today got in the studio, and I said, I got a couple ideas for episodes. This was one of my ideas because I just started rereading Unshakable by Tony Robbins, which is all about money. It's all about how you can understand more about money, the stock market, all that. Everything about money. Taxes, everything. Now, at one point, probably a year and a half ago, maybe even longer than that, honestly, early on in my entrepreneurial journey, I downloaded this book, the audiobook, and I listened to like the first chapter, and I never picked it up again, or I never turned it on again. And I realized today, as I'm going through this book, that this is one of the most valuable books I have ever had the opportunity to listen to, but it's only as valuable as you are open and willing to change to it. And I think so many of us are guilty of this. I know I am, right? How long did it take me to really want to dial in my finances? I know people, and James Clear says this in Atomic Habits, which I'm also reading, that people are hesitant to start a system, to start tracking.
Yeah.
Tracking is a game changer.
Right.
Tracking is one of the most impactful things. But if I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to be responsible to check off 16 boxes a day. I don't want other people to see my progress. I don't want this. I don't want this. My life would look infinitely different. So my intention for this episode is for you to sit down and think to yourself, where am I holding back on change? Where am I kind of shooting myself in the foot? If you really want to master finances, but you're not open to the discomfort of tracking them or getting the initial awareness, if you want to master fitness, honestly, I wouldn't even say master, if you want to improve, that's going to require you to be open to some level of change. And if you're not open to it, you're also not open to the results either then.
Right.
That's my intention is for you guys to question, like, where haven't I made a change in a long time?
Right.
Where have I gotten stagnant on, like, well, you know, this is good enough, or this is the results I'm getting? Because for me, this was like a huge awareness thing of, you know, if you guys go back, and maybe you're listening to this, you know, in the future, you didn't listen to the last episode, but earlier in the previous weeks, we've talked a lot about finances, right? And how I spent $460 a month on food.
When we did the top 10.
Then we did the top 10 ways to
things you need to know about
money.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if I knew the name of our own titles.
Yeah.
But now there's a reason I'm reading that book now, because my awareness changed, and then I was open to, like, oh, okay, I need to know more about this. And something that at one point seemed like it had no value of me now is the most valuable thing. But that's only predicated on how much I'm willing to change.
Well, let me ask you this. So
No.
you have valued money
Since I was a wee boy.
since you were a wee boy. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. Why did you value money but not learning about money?
The same reason I valued love, but I never learned about love.
What's the reason?
I think you assume, you don't know. Is this what you're going to say on this episode?
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. So it's like, I made six figures without understanding anything about money. I assumed that's just how it was. It was lack of awareness. It's just lack of awareness.
So what do you suggest for that person who valued money but didn't learn how to make it?
Understand that you can value it all you want, but your ability to replicate something is based on your awareness and your knowledge.
Right.
For me, it's like, I didn't realize how Jeff 401ks are.
Right.
Right. And this is from Unshakable, but
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Right. I didn't realize that if you make $30,000 a year over the life of a 401k, it literally takes 3 years of your income.
Yep.
It takes $90K.
Yeah.
And that's at 30,000.
Yeah.
It's more the higher you go, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Right.
Now that I know
That's
that.
the compound effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also asked Dave Meltzer recently, what is a book you would suggest to me that I can learn more about money or more about money?
Math.
Money. Jesus, man. I think my brain is broken today. About math. We're going to power right through. About math. Because I now see how valuable math is. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, look at how red Alan is right now.
You're the funniest thing.
Look,
literally.
Alan and I are both a little bit Jeff. We had
long weekend.
My weekend wasn't that long. I literally sat on the couch all day yesterday, but it was quite nice.
I don't know what your excuse is, but
I don't have one.
yeah, okay.
I don't have one.
But you went to
Math.
learn about math.
Yeah. But the reason, again, I hate math. And I've always said, like, oh, I hate math. Well, I had to change. I had to be willing and open to change to understand that math is actually super important.
Do you still hate math?
I don't necessarily enjoy it, but I enjoy I enjoy the potential of it.
I guess, isn't that the way everything is? It's this interesting thing. People see someone who's in shape and they assume they love fitness, but they didn't love fitness out of the gate.
Yeah.
At first, it really sucked. But they created a habit and then got addicted to that habit because that's how humans are.
And you had to admit somewhere, like, I think I need to make a change.
Yeah.
Like, you must be open to change. There's a reason we named it that, because somewhere in your life right now, you have a wall built up and you're not open to change. And the problem is, you're not even seeing the things that would benefit you.
Yeah, you don't know what that change would provide.
I had
10
this
years down the
audiobook
road.
in my library for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Never once did I think of reading it until 3 days ago.
Do you wish you had read it earlier?
Yeah, I
Right.
do. Of course.
That's a great book. Every time, I always say this, whenever you read a book that makes you feel
bad about yourself.
Yeah, bad about yourself, it's a great book. The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John Maxwell is one of my favorite books. And the reason why is because every time I read it, I realize, oh my God, I'm leaving so much potential on the table. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Is there another way? Okay, let's say I pick up a book and it's not value, and I there's no mirror, there's no feedback, there's no jeffing, there's no, oh my God, I'm leaving so much potential on the table. Well, that's not that valuable of a book.
Yeah.
I remember when I took Darren Hardy's Insane Productivity course, it was like, oh my God, I wish I knew this earlier. That's value. All progress is predicated on being wrong. There is no one way to do something. There's only a better way. And the only way to do something better is to get new awareness. And I think that the people who love learning are always the ones who succeed in the long run. I think that's a universal thing. Brian Tracy says this. He basically says, I learned very early in life that if I do what successful people do, then I will be more successful. It's the simplest concept ever, but it's true. And if I avoid doing what unsuccessful people do, I'll be more successful. I'm going to say that last one again. If I avoid doing what unsuccessful people do, I'll be more successful. I do that often. Jim Rohn says this. He says, figure out what poor people read and don't read it. I honestly, unfortunately believe that. Everything is the way it is for a reason. You need to, if you want to be wealthy, you're going to have to figure out what wealthy people are doing that you're not. They either think differently than you or they do things differently than you or some combination of both.
Yeah.
And I guess what I want to ask you, Kev, is I mean, at one point you weren't, and I don't want to call you out, but I know that our listeners, our listeners can relate. You know, I was telling you about Money Master the Game. I read that book 6 years ago. I've read it dozens of times. I feel like I understand finance very well, and I obviously still need to continue mastering it. But I guess what would have gotten you to read it sooner? What could I have said? Because, dude, I had to sell you the idea of going to Brendan Burchard's event. Why couldn't I sell you the idea of Unshakable or Money Master the Game or finance? Like, you know, what could I have said or done?
I don't know. I don't know that I don't have the result, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Have the result. Again, if you pull up in a Ferrari, I'm going to listen. Honestly, maybe even to a detriment.
I know.
I might even listen to a detriment. Now, I think I'm aware enough to understand, like, okay, there's a chance that you're BSing me here.
Right.
And there's a lot of ways you can get a Ferrari that might not even be yours. Like,
right.
It's got dealer plates on it. Is that actually yours? You're renting that thing?
Yeah.
But I think that's one way is, like, I think the other thing, too, is up until recently, I didn't really see how well-versed you were when it came to finances and the deeper understanding. So when I did, then it was like, okay, tell me more about what did you to understand this.
Right.
So I think that's the other thing, too, is like I never really knew.
Yeah.
I never really knew that you knew as much as you did. You always said you did, and I knew you knew more than I did. But again, I didn't know what I didn't know.
Right. And you also probably wonder, too, like, if he knows all this, why isn't he more wealthy? It's the compound effect. You don't see what I'm running in the background necessarily. And I think what other people forget as well, and there's a takeaway here for all our listeners, I was, you know, when I left my job at Cognex, I had $125,000 in the bank. You know, I had almost $200,000 a year back in 2014 I made. And it's like, I don't talk about that. So maybe I don't have the credibility. Like, I made a lot of money in the stock market. Like, I know about ETFs, index funds, 401k, Roth IRA. Like, I know all of that. And I've studied it, you know, religiously. But I don't show up in Ferraris. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so that I think that I'm jeffing on that a little bit. And we've talked about that formula that we'll do an episode on at some point. But expertise, communication, you know, character, and perception. Unfortunately, perception is the most important one.
It is. It's because it's the easiest one to see.
It's the only one you can see.
Yeah. Unless you get close enough. And we always say that the closer you get to somebody, the closer you to the truth you get. Mm-hmm. Right? If you guys have listened to us however long you have. Maybe you've listened to one episode, maybe you listen to 100 episodes, maybe you listen to 489 episodes. Like, clap for you if you did, because that's a lot of content.
Yeah.
But if you were to spend a weekend with us, if you were to go to the gym, to go out to eat, to spend time around our families and our loved ones, the goal is for you to like us more.
Yeah.
For you to get closer to the truth and realize, like, oh, these guys are actually like really good people. I've been doing listener calls. We're going to talk about that on Monday. But I've been doing listener calls. And one of the things that the people have said is like, oh, it's awesome to like get to meet you.
Right.
Like to get to meet you because I feel like I know you.
Yeah.
My goal is always to over deliver. I want them to say, oh, he's amazing, just as good as I thought he would be, if not better.
Right.
Right. That's always my goal. So the closer you get to the truth, you realize that. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about here, but I thought I'd say it.
If you had to give one tangible takeaway to help people get to the next level, I know we got more time, but
if you aren't getting the results that you want in some place, something needs to change.
yeah,
And if you're not open to the change, don't complain about not getting the results, because they kind of go hand in hand.
right.
If you want to maximize your physique and you're not willing to go to the gym, I think you're jeffing.
Right.
Because there's more weights at the gym than there are at your house, unless you have a nice gym. If you want to retire and be able to live off your retirement, and at the current place that you're at, you're not able to do that, and your trajectory isn't there, something needs to change. Whether it's your awareness, whether it's your action, whether it's your knowledge, whether it's the practice. So I think at the end of the day, like, I think, and another reason I wanted to do this, I look back from the beginning of this journey. Again, I was literally smoking weed on a Tuesday afternoon at 11 a.m., right? Literally, that's what I was doing as an entrepreneur. That had to change.
Right.
What if that didn't change? We wouldn't be here. You probably wouldn't be working with me anymore, right? I wouldn't have Taryn.
Yeah.
So that had to change. That's one thing. How many things came from that one change?
I know.
You can't.
It's unreal.
You'll never know. But I just think about like all the things that I have changed about myself or about my surroundings. That I don't know how much progress is because of that. I don't know how much progress is not because of that. But without those changes, I wouldn't be the person that I am today.
Right. Can you grow without changing? No. And I think it's so inherent. It's so obvious that you cannot get better without changing. You know? If you want to get better at anything, you're going to have to find... I really think it comes down to the formula back there that we talk about often. You try something, you fail, you get pain, which brings new awareness, which brings better decisions, which brings better results. You had to fail at something by, and then correlate that smoking weed at 11 on a Tuesday is not, you don't always know to prep more for a speech until you bomb one. I just think, and a lot of times we relearn lessons, but I think the key is consistency. I don't think you're going to change or be open to change unless you have reps under your belt. So I think that's what I would say. To get someone to the next level, you have to be consistent enough to create the necessity for change. If you've done 20 podcast episodes and have 0 listens, that's going to create enough pain to force you to be open to change.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about this Friday. We're going to talk about how to let go of what's not working.
Right.
And we're like, again, just because you have 20 episodes and no listens doesn't mean it's time for you to stop your podcast.
Exactly.
It means that it's time to figure out what's not working and make that change. There's a reason we're doing these episodes together. I just want to jump into Next Level Nation and see who the new
good call.
members are. If you would gladly sing a little jingle for the peeps.
Gonna find my baby, gonna hold her tight, gonna grab some afternoon delight.
Convinced that's the only song you know.
Yeah.
How do I find new members?
I could stay awake just to hear you breathing.
Do you know how to find new members?
Yeah. Yep. You want me to do it?
Yeah,
My phone's over there. Hold space for the kid.
Watch you smile while you are sleeping, while you're far away and dreaming. I could spend my life
in this
sweet surrender. That's how we hold space around here.
Yep. Okay, 289.
If you told me 3-4 years ago that I'd be singing in front of however many people are going to hear this episode, I would tell you you're crazy.
Right. Okay. Let me see.
I don't remember what the last name was.
It doesn't show me specifically.
See, it does somehow though.
I know.
I just don't remember how.
I'm fairly certain that let's do that on the next episode.
I'm ashamed of myself.
You want to do it on the next episode? We apologize deeply for wasting the last minute and a half.
See if I can find it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to add some value while you do that, okay?
Please do.
Okay. So if you're out there right now, I want you to think about what Brian Tracy said. He said, I learned very early in life that if I study what successful people do and do what they do, I'll be more successful. And on the flip side of that, if I study what unsuccessful people do and avoid doing that, then I'll be more successful. Now, success here is customized based on your unique goals, your unique values, your unique beliefs. Don't let anyone else define success for you. You got to figure out what is success, what would actually be a successful life. At the end of the day, my favorite poem in the world is A Man in the Glass. And it talks about, at the end of the day, are you proud of you? I believe true success comes from within. When your head hits that pillow at night, are you proud of the person you've become and the contribution you've done? Are you maximizing your potential, and are you contributing beyond yourself, and are you congruent with your highest self? I think that's success. And I think fulfillment is the indicator that you are on the right path. But along the way, you have to be open to studying people, studying places, studying things, studying ideas. Kevin wants to be wealthy. He has to be open to studying wealth.
#change.
#positive change.
Ladies and gentlemen, as I have mentioned in the previous weeks, we are doing a giveaway as of December 1st. We are going to give away 5 $50 Amazon gift cards. If you want to be entered into this giveaway/sweepstakes, all you have to do is leave us a rating on the Apple Podcast app, screenshot it, send it to myself, Alan, Tiff, Amy, Natalie, somebody on the team, just so we know who you are. And as of December 1st, we will pick 5 lucky winners, and we will hammer those off to you. You can buy holiday presents or do whatever it is. You can buy a bunch of eggnog and do whatever it is that you want to do with it.
We got a new review this week, didn't we?
My nose is very itchy. We got to go hammer this quick because there's a chance that we have Jeff this entire process.
Okay. All right. Well,
I can look.
Okay.
Talk about the mastermind.
All right. Every Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're actually going to do an episode this week. It's going to be episode 492, and it's dropping next Monday on the power of a powerful community. Amy and I in Next Level Nation did a 20-minute Facebook Live. I think it ended up being like 40 minutes, but it was why being on a winning team is so important. And that's what we want in Next Level Nation, but also in the weekly masterminds. We are creating a community of people who have similar goals, similar values, similar beliefs. If you feel during COVID like you've been suppressed, like you're around people who don't get you, don't understand you, there is a solution. And there is no more important thing than getting around a community. So join those masterminds. They start every Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we hope to see you there.
Bada bing, bada boom. Quickly, from Karish, I am so grateful to have stumbled upon this podcast. I listen to an episode every morning on my commute. I truly feel so connected to every message Alan and Kevin share. This has easily been the best addition to my daily routine in 2020. Definitely click subscribe. We appreciate you so very much. Also, if you are watching us on YouTube, I checked recently. I think it's like 97% of those who watch us are not subscribed. Subscribe to us. Click the bell so you get notified. Guys, we are not stopping this podcast anytime soon. We're doing 5 episodes a week. It'll tell you when we're doing it. You can click it, and it'll take you right here. We hope you enjoyed, and we will talk to you at the next level. And we don't have fans, we have family.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.